in the report. When we go to compensation of employees, remember the very first thing we were discussing was the inaccuracies in ledger balances between IFMIS and financial statements on compensation of employees, and that one we've asked the Auditor General to probe further. There was lack of an approved staff establishment. Governor, have you defined and gotten approval for your staff establishment?
Yes, we have already done the draft and also passed it. Now we are sending it to the Assembly for final.
So it is still in draft form?
Yes.
Auditor General, you could look at that and report in the next cycle. Non-compliance with law on ethnic composition. There is a counterpart committee, the National Cohesion Committee, that I believe is doing inquiries on this. I don't know whether you've appeared before it.
Yes, I did.
And you have made presentations
we
to
are
it?
doing, we made presentation and we are making progress.
We shall be guided by the report of the committee. On fiscal responsibility, 43% of total receipts are going to employees, which is above the 35%. Just recently, through the valiant efforts of Senator Mogeni, Nyandarua was included in the counties that received an affirmative action top-up. And we hope that if your revenues are guaranteed to be at 6 billion, then we should see a reduction of this ratio. Senator Mogeni, would you wish to reaffirm, because these governors sometimes think that we do nothing in Nairobi. Can you reaffirm what the 47 senators have done for Nyandarua?
Let me begin by asking, did you follow the proceedings?
Chair, I'm so excited. If it is Senator Omugeni who prosecuted that, then the Nyandarua, we owe you gratitude. I followed and it was really exciting.
It was the entire Senate. Oh, it appears you are not familiar with the facts.
No, but
that's why that is the first question.
You are progressing very well. I was the brainchild, but without their support, it could never have seen the light of the day. But really, I hope once you get this money, use it for development for the people of Nyandarua. Don't get the money and balloon your workforce, and you tell us I use the money to employ more people. Because that was not the intention. I was at pains to convince the Senate why we need that affirmative fund to spur development in the small counties.
I agree with my senator that this money is going directly to major
development project
in the
okay,
country.
So then you can thank the chair and all senators.
Because for Nyandarua to get more, it meant Homa Bay was to get
was losing something.
Correct.
Yeah?
That's the easy calculation, that for the 12 to get, we had to remove from Homa Bay, Nandi here, for you to get something. So it's a big sacrifice from the other counties to assist you to do catch-up.
Correct.
Yeah. At least bear that in mind with your other 11 brothers and sisters, if there is any.
The only gift that you can give governor is to ensure there is prudent use of value, because Homa Bay and Nandi we lost, because all of us are cousins wherever you come from, Chair. So that is why we consider that into action, Chair. He didn't answer something about JM Karaoke Memorial. I had just requested one. I had requested this JM Memorial Hospital. I know it's part of the question, just Chair, because he didn't answer. Did you sort any help from the national government, or is purely financed by the county?
Senator, I'd like, it's a good question. Yes. It's a substantive matter. Let's just run through and deal with it.
Okay.
So, payment of salary outside IPPD system. Auditor General, has this matter been resolved?
Yeah, not yet.
So they are still running manual payrolls?
Yes, Chair.
This matter remains unresolved. We allow you to probe it further and report in the next audit cycle. Failure to recruit a Solicitor General. Governor, has that been resolved? And someone introduced themselves as a Solicitor General. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence that that matter has been closed?
You have a physical evidence.
When were they appointed?
Letters maybe, annexures.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, members. I confirm that I'm the county solicitor for Nyandarua County.
With effect from?
With effect from 20th December.
20th December.
Of December, yes.
Which year?
2024.
2024.
Yeah.
Okay, so we shall see whether it's going to change the next query, which is irregular engagement of consultants for legal services. That is what we have discussed at length, and the governor has pleaded guilty. It is upon us to decide how to punish him. Non-adherence to the stipulated budget process timelines. Again, we have spent a lot of time on budget issues. Members of County Assembly, do not allow the executive to hijack your budget function. And we are seeing a lot of shortcomings that have been highlighted by the Auditor General on the budget process. Excessive budgetary allocation to the County Assembly. Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Chair, you should also mention to the county assemblies that we are proposing a constitution amendment to create a fund for the assembly. So that bill is on the floor. If it ever lands in Nyandarua, ensure that you support it. Yeah.
Thank you. Members of County Assembly, you have been cited that you are getting more money than you need. Deputy Speaker, is that true?
Honorable Chair, the allocation of the County Assembly has a ceiling from SRC, but there is amount of money for development that is allocated through the county government. So I'm not sure, I don't know whether I have answered that.
Well, the regulations require that 7% or not more than twice the personnel emoluments of the County Assembly is what should be sent to you. And I think Senate has been too generous with county assemblies over the years that we have raised the ceilings, and as a result, you're getting 11%. So with 11%, we have seen 43% is going to salaries. 11% is going to the assembly. Already half of the money, 54% of the money you get is going to salaries and the assembly. You are left with only 46% to maneuver. And out of the 46%, you're only putting 1 billion to development. 1.1 billion out of 5.6 billion. You're putting less than 20% on development.
Maybe Chair, a member of the board should be appropriately able to answer that.
I don't know whether the problem is yours or the problem is with the executive or the problem is the Senate. Do they bully you that they must get above 7% or else they impeach you?
No, what the DS has said is correct. Nyandarua, you know, was left behind both in all spheres. We don't have a county headquarters, we don't have a county hospital, we don't have governors, don't have speakers, we didn't have a speaker's house. So that is why you find sometimes you extend some development money to them for them also to be able to do things that were not there before. Otherwise, we are doing fine. This 43% was as a result of the OSR this year. We had a lot of problems with the finance bill. You remember even at national level, you experienced a lot of trouble. It happened in our place. When we prepared our finance bill, we had court cases, therefore we never collected enough money, and that is how the calculation shows as if we spent so much on which bill and not development.
Well, the fact is that you spent just $1 billion on development, which is 20% of your total revenues. That is not the reason why devolution was brought. Counties were not supposed to be payroll stations. They were supposed to be development units.
Tier 1 exchequer, which was purely for development, never came. So that would have been 1.5 billion.
And your own source revenue, how much is it?
That year we had given as 1.2 We thought we could go there, but when financial bill brought problems, we could not raise that. That is why even in the following year, we have brought down the finance bill.
Senator Omogeni, I'm sure that Senator Methu must have used a sleight of hand on you, because their own source revenue is 500 million. Their equitable share was 5.6 billion, so they're already above 6 billion in terms of consolidated revenue sources. But kiendacho kwa Nyandarua akijapotea.
We were basing, we were basing the uplift on anybody below 6 billion on equitable share, not on own source. That's where we sneak them in.
Yeah, but I think that one you need to, if you go back to the county, you must tell them that your senator was able to convince other senators to be able to get you an additional allocation, which you must confirm will not go towards mandazi, and salaries will go to a defined project. And I hope with the cooperation of the county assembly in the budget exercise, you can ring fence that 400 or so million so that it goes into something that will be a legacy.
It's true, I've already talked the good of our senator and all the senators in this country, and we confirm that we shall ring fence that money for proper development.
Okay, so on this audit query, Auditor General, your observation is valid. Please report on it as long as it remains above what is in law. It is upon the Senate now to revise the ceilings to bring them down to the 7%. So this matter remains unresolved, and keep reporting on it until the day when we'll have amended our ceilings or amended the law.
Well guided, Chair.
Irregular revenue collection and management system extension. Earlier in our briefing, we agreed that we will stand down the interrogation of the receiver of revenue statement. We will ask the Auditor General to do a comprehensive inquiry and report in the 2024-2025 period. So all the issues that appeared in the receiver of revenue report, we shall not address them, but we'll ask the auditor to review and report back in the subsequent financial year. Irregular payment of subscription to the Council of Governors, that we take the view that it is an irregular charge, and therefore we shall be proposing that this money be recovered from the Governor of Nyandarua County, because he is the member of the Council of Governors who is benefiting from irregular proceeds. Non-compliance with the law on pending bills, we have spent a lot of time on pending bills. We have asked the Auditor General to do a detailed review of that. This issue of municipality expenditure on designated departments, where you are spending on behalf of Olkalou municipality. Again, Auditor, you will review whether this is prevalent and persistent. Irregular commitments for supply of goods and services. We had alluded to this at the beginning of our conversation, where you had payments made outside the financial year but backdated to 30th of June. Now you have 194 million for supply of goods and services made after 31st of May without the approval of the accounting officer. The law says, yes, you may make those commitments, but there has to be the approval of the accounting officer. Auditor General, did you get the approvals?
Not yet, Chair.
Therefore, the accounting officer is in breach of law. Governor, what do you have to say for that?
I'm aware a letter should be written. When we were going through this report, I asked my members, and they confirmed that a letter was written. Maybe if they did not present it to the auditor, that is an issue. But
we take the position that an offence has been committed. Regulation 51 of the PFM has been defiled, and therefore we'll be proposing appropriate measures in line with the offences defined in the Act and in the regulation. because this is such a simple thing. We are not saying you should not, but show us evidence that there was an approval of the accounting officer. And so we are not going to waste time on this. We will just pronounce ourselves that investigation should be done with a view to prosecution for violation of that regulation. On projects implementation, there was incomplete and low absorption in projects implementation status report. And this is where we were hoping that the county assembly would be ahead of the Senate, because it's difficult to oversight projects while sitting in Nairobi. These projects exist in your wards. So if there are 770 projects with a budget of 3 billion, for 207 were ongoing, 42 projects worth 64 million had not started. The best place for this kind of oversight is at the county assembly. So, honorable members of county assembly, even though we have had this exercise in the Senate, when you go back to your assembly, please give a lot of priority to the projects, because we have dealt with the other issues of lawfulness, issues of bookkeeping. Please focus on the projects, because there is no way sitting in Nairobi we can say that projects are happening without visiting the ground. So 9.1, this is a matter where we are recommending the county assembly to take a detailed look, but the auditor should also do a deeper analysis and report in the next cycle.
Chair, if I can add there, what we have done to help in this is that we have appointed a county project implementation team, and we are also done a website where implementation will be shown on a daily basis, right from awarding up to the completion. So,
But Chair, I think the panacea to this would just be providing adequate budgets. Even when you have monitoring and evaluations teams and there are no budgetary allocations, still will be facing headwinds. I think budget is the issue.
thank you.
Proper budget implementation.
Correct. Moving first, the county headquarters at Olkalau. Governor, Senate has previously allocated funds for this, isn't it?
Yes, you have done, and we are still pleading with you, Chair, after you allocated this money about almost a year ago. This money has not hit our accounts. So you also need your support there so that this money can come, we finish this.
But there was a handover to the state department recently.
The money, they just handed over.
In terms of project management and project completion.
No funds received yet.
Aren't you in the same category as Isiolo?
Yes, we are.
Tharakanithi?
Yes.
And which other county was
Lamu.
that? And Lamu.
Yes.
Auditor, you need to, because when we went to Isiolo, you remember we were of the view that before there was a handover, Patrick, were we together with you in Isiolo?
That was Sumaili then.
That was Sumaili?
Yes.
Because we had concerns on how the money that had been sent to the counties had been used or misused. Clerk, could you just help us remember?
Yes, we resolved that before the handover was done, there would be an audit to find out how much had been sent, how much had been used, and the percentages that were done.
But then the handover was done nonetheless because there was pressure from the governors.
Yes.
So could you, in the case of Nyandarua, because that's what we're looking at, give us an assurance that the monies that senators appropriated previously as a conditional grant for the county headquarters was properly utilized, and the transition that was done, that the resources are traceable, and there is lawfulness and efficiency in that. Because there are many paragraphs on this matter. Senator Marumo?
Yeah, it seems that the money expended is 339 million out of 617. Could the auditor confirm that the project could be at 50% and above completion rate?
Chair, maybe as the auditor is answering, I would like him to note that unlike the other 4 counties, for Nyandarua, the project manager, even for the period that elapsed, has been the Minister of Public Works headquarters. So even as he's looking for the details, he needs also to consult the Minister of Public Works, because they were the ones who are the project managers, unlike the others where project managers were from the county.
And Governor, do you think this project is at 50% and above?
Yeah, we're there. You're there. You're there.
The last time I was there, it had not left the ground.
No. It's the infrastructure, the walling, all the wallings have been done. They are now in the completions.
Okay, so since you're already in this mess, let the Auditor General give us an assurance. I call it a mess because my county, Homa Bay, is building a county headquarters within a period of 1 year by looking at innovative financing mechanisms. I think there's been an arrangement with the CPF on a financing mechanism that is allowing us, and by the time you come for the Devolution Conference in Homa Bay, our county headquarters, which started only last year, would probably be ready. Now, yours started in 2019. To date, it has not been delivered. So think out of the box. When you think out of the box, then you'll be able to get results much faster. But since this is ongoing, all these questions on lawfulness, Auditor General, make sure that they are addressed in the current year audit. County aggregation and industrial parks, is this complete or it is ongoing, Governor?
It's ongoing. You're at 17%, but the national government has not honored the bargain of 250 million.
So what are you going to do?
We are still waiting because it is a core partnered project.
Well, it was removed by a parliamentary instrument, the County Government's Additional Allocation Act. So if it was not in SIGA, then the money wouldn't come.
So we are still working with the 250 million from our side, but still waiting for the national government to honor their bid.
Where, Governor? The money is not there.
It's not there in SIGA.
Maybe this year, next year.
If it was not in the county government's additional allocation,
they will
it is
appropriate.
not there.
Maybe there is no money this time, but next year they will appropriate. We expect.
And if they don't?
Let them say so that we can.
And Governor, why did you elect to start putting the money to the project before receiving the matching amount from the national government?
Because that was the agreement.
You just trusted them?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are our seniors.
I think you guys in COG, you must also have an agenda, some substantive agenda on this particular matter. This thing of county aggregation and industrial parks, you're going to end up with 47 warehouses across the country, which will have absolutely no impact on the value chains in our local economies. And you are quick to accept because the national government is telling you, you're a governor so that you can be able to make decisions that are local.
And with the regional blocks, you have just one.
We get 15% of the money, 85% of the money is left here. So when they say that they have something to give us, we come running.
Yeah, but let them put it in something that is of immediate priority. Perhaps for your potato value chain, the priority might not have been an aggregation park. It could have been something else. It could have been value addition. But since this is ongoing, Auditor General, keep it in view. J Memorial County Referral Hospital, this one, Senator Cherargei, you had asked about it. Is this complete, Governor?
Not yet, Chair. This project was about 1.5 billion when we awarded it. We have worked for the last 5 years until we found that we have no capacity to finish it. And again, remember, it's a level 5 hospital. Level 5 hospitals, we get support from the national government. That is why I requested the national government and the president to support, which he accepted happily. And we are expecting that in the near future, the military will be coming. We are already in talks with the PS military to come and support us to finish the remaining bit.
So, Chair, maybe on this Memorial Hospital, how much had the county spent on it, and how much are you expecting from the national government, or you are handing over the entire building to national government? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Out of the 1.5 billion, we have already spent close to 600 million, and still the contractor has done some work, or another like 150 million, which will pay from our end. But now from there, everything else will be done by the national government.
Is the percentage of this Chair Memorial Hospital?
We are at 48%.
48%?
Yes.
What was the contract sum of the entire project?
It was about 1.47, which is about 1.5, but since there are some variations, it's now coming to around 1.6 something.
1.6 billion.
Yes.
You have paid close to 600. You are supposed to pay another 150 million. So that comes to around 700 million plus. And the project is what? 1.6 billion.
Yes.
So that's almost, you have made almost 50%
Yes.
payment.
Yes.
And the works is 48%.
Yes.
Does that not ring a bell?
Well, the 48 we are talking about is the infrastructure, the main building.
No, I agree. I get you so that we make progress. We have other meetings. 48%, you are paid close to 50%.
That is the main infrastructure, but there are some finishes which I have not included in the 48%. That's what the technical people say.
I heard you have chief officer through the chair of public works and roads. He's here. What is the percentage? Where is that chief officer?
Chair, it is the Department of Health, and the percentage that we have done is the completion rate is 49%.
9%?
Yes.
But you have paid almost 50%.
We have paid 515 million.
Outstanding to contractor is 150 million, as the governor has said.
Yes.
The governor has said
the outstanding is 1 billion.
No, the works that has been done as at now is saying 150 million.
The works.
They had to be paid.
Yeah, the certificates.
Yes, they had to be paid. The one they have raised certificates is like 150 million.
So maybe finally, Chair, so that we don't take a lot in this. So what is the procedure of handing over to the national government on this JM Memorial Hospital? You have said you have talked to PS. I know it comes, it comes from Laikipia, not your county, Mairiru. You have talked to the president, the national government. Is there a procedure of handing over?
Yes. Already the Department of Public Works have been instructed to inspect the work, do the variation and give a report, which is now ready. We are going to constitute a meeting between ourselves, the Minister of Public Works and the contractor, and then from there we will do an agreement. This is where we have gone, and this is our obligation, and then we hand over now.
So the report on JM Memorial Hospital is ready for handing over to national government for completion?
Yes, it is.
Who will run this facility if it gets complete?
It is the county government.
So is it part of the agreement?
Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, it's the county government of Nyandarua.
I think when we visit, when we visit Nyandarua or that part of the region, this is one of the projects we should visit.
Correct.
And this, you need to agree with Council of Governors, these industrial parks, CHVs, handing over like a Kakamega County Referral Hospital, it is not so neat. I think the Council of Governors...
Actually, on that, following our visit to Wasingishu, we probably might need to put in legislation that a county government should not engage in a multi-year project outside the CIDP. Because this project started in 2021, 1 year to elections, and then a new governor comes and has a 1.6 billion project that is taking up all the resources. We saw that in Wasingishu. We saw that in Kakamega. I think there needs to be some sanity to avoid overcommitting the next generation of governors. But that's a conversation we can have.
Yeah. Maybe just to confirm, in the upcoming national government budget, has this been budgeted for if the national government is taking over this project? Or it is just an indication by word of mouth that the national government is taking over the project? Because, Chair, when we were in Wasingishu, we were being told some stadium would be taken by the national government, but in the budget of the national government, there was nothing like an indication of a budget line for that project.
At the moment, it is still verbative, but this coming meeting that we have constituted is when now everything will be clear.
Okay, let's keep this in view, and members of County Assembly, I hope you'll also take an interest in it. The governor's residence, is it complete? It was supposed to be completed on 24th December 2024.
Not yet, but we
Auditor General, find out why it is not complete, because in this report you said it should have been complete by now.
Thank you, Chair. It's stalled at the moment.
It's stalled?
Yes.
Fine, you'll give us a comprehensive report on that. Unimplemented projects, this matter was of great interest, but because of time we'll not be able to get into it. Keep it alive, keep it in view, and we can deal with it in the subsequent cycle, because I believe we'll have better time. Unremitted and withheld taxes, we had discussed this OAG. Identify for us the avoidable penalties or the avoidable charges arising out of this act of omission, so that we can make recommendation for such charges and punishment of the officers who caused the county to pay penalties and interests that could have been avoided.
Well guided, Chair.
The Information Technology Systems Interface, you told us that there is an ongoing review.
Yes. Yeah.
The Audit Committee, Governor, do you have it in place?
Yes.
In future, we have given directions that when you are coming for this exercise, you must come with the chair of the Audit Committee and the secretary to the Audit Committee.
Guided.
Who is the secretary to the Audit Committee?
Director Internal Audit.
Yes, so we must have the chair of the Audit Committee and the Internal Audit Committee. Because, you know, I'm asking myself why we, the politicians in Nairobi, should be dealing with all these pages when you have an Audit Committee, an internal audit function. Why all these matters should end up as audit queries? We have sat here from 9:30, now going to 2:30. It is not the best use of the time of the Senate. So make sure that these institutions work to reduce the volumes that come to Nairobi for consideration. Yeah, because if they work, then your life will be easy. The risk management policy, you said it's ongoing?
But Chair, even that internal audit function, there are weaknesses, like there are no reports. Out of 7, only 2 are provided for its review. The internal control systems are very poor in the county. That one you must not.
Correct, because without the audit committee, there is nowhere for the internal auditor to report. So I think we want to see an improvement on that front. Risk management policy, Governor, what's the status? Auditor General, keep that in view. Weaknesses in the legal department, we have spent quite some time on that. Our comments are on record. Lack of logbooks and vehicle status, we agreed, Auditor General, keep this in view from the assets management perspective.
Well guided, Chair.
Failure to adhere to vote control guidelines on subsistence allowance. Did you confirm that this amount has been surrendered, the 10.2 million OAG?
Yes, Chair, we confirmed.
Okay, then just keep an eye on impress management and confirm whether they are now fully complying with the law.
Well guided, Chair.
The issue of medical equipment scheme, as we had discussed earlier, we take a global view and see how it affects the other counties as well.
Maybe just to note from the governor, have you renewed the contracts? How are you dealing with the mess issue?
No, the mess issue became a mess, and we are now in another regime of NESP. So mess is it was a national government issue. They procured, they were paying. So
you still have the equipment with you. Are you using them?
Some of them are obsolete.
The ones that are useful, are you using them? And
yes.
how are you repairing them?
Yes, we are.
Is it the county incurring expenses to repair them?
Yes, because we are outside the contract.
I don't know what you guys discuss when you meet the president, but NESP only works the president's mind. When you talk to people on the ground, NESP is going to be a disaster. I don't know whether you guys tell the president the truth about NESP.
some truths are actually very difficult to tell, especially when they come from the serious management. So you give.
But what is the truth about NESP?
The truth of the matter, it's not quite workable, because the way they have been arranged, you find a very cheap equipment being tied together with another one. Like now, malaria testing equipment, for us, we charge 100 shillings. But when you find it under the NESP arrangement, it's going to charge 250. So that means, even if we are given that kind of, it's not going to help. So it seems to be worked. We can't say that 100% rule it out, but it needs to be reworked. The way it is at the moment, is not. We cannot say that's the best way.
I thought you were all supporters of the truthful men. You need to start telling the president the truth, not just on politics, but on these things. Because as we look at things rationally and objectively, we are going to end up with another mess like the mess that we are walking out of. And again, it's 1 year since, it's almost 1 year since SHA began. SHA began in October last year, isn't it? So have this equipment arrived?
For equipment, nothing. We have not seen about the equipment. The only thing we can say about SHA, which is working, is attending to patients. Actually, we are telling our patients to register, because when you go to hospital, at least there, you can be assured that you're going. But when it comes to equipment, that arrangement, we are not sure whether it's going to help this country. We're not sure.
Remember, the health function is assigned to you in the 4th schedule. So if you're not sure, then we have a big problem in the country. So, honorable members, I think that brings us to the end of the report on the executive. We have had to rush through some passages, but we had already agreed with the Auditor General on how to treat them in the 2024-2025 audit cycle. We have not gone into the details of the ROR. Again, we have agreed with the Auditor General on how that will be reported on. To the County Assembly, please help us with oversight, particularly on the projects and a few of the issues that we have left unresolved. But remember that your time is running out, because in the next 14 days, the financial years are closing. Then in the next 3 months, there'll be preparation of financial statements. Then in the subsequent period, there'll be audit. So try to be as up-to-date as possible to avoid a situation where you get into the next audit when you still have unresolved issues from the prior year. Honorable members, we must be done and be out of here at latest 2:30 to commence the other meeting. Any observations in closing?
Just one for me, that Governor and your team in the Finance Department, this audit report is too big. Yet you can make it small by providing explanations to the auditor during the time of audit. We have had opportunity to look at your county with an unqualified opinion from the auditors. I think you need to really engage more with the auditors, engage more with your people, with the internal audit and the audit committee, so that these issues need not to be escalated to this level. Otherwise, you have a lot of work to do.
Candidly, for me, I've been left with unanswered questions on the unreconciled pending bills. For me, there is a smoking gun there. So when we read our report, Chair, that issue, I'm not convinced that we have received the answers we ought to have been given. Governor.
Yes, I'll give the Governor an opportunity. Perhaps I should have asked the Auditor General, are you receiving full cooperation from the entity, especially now that you're doing the compliance audits?
Thank you, Chair. I want to confirm that we are receiving full cooperation. Maybe the aspect that we want to highlight to the Governor and the committee is the recurring nature of the issues that we are raising. We'd hope that going forward, and following discussions like we are having at the Senate committee, the issues will be addressed so that subsequently when we go for audits, we find that they have been resolved and addressed, and the reports are fewer, and the issues that we raise become fewer and fewer.
Yeah, but the fact remains that if there was better collaboration and cooperation, you wouldn't end up with these 200 pages of an audit report. Governor, you should not be proud of this. In fact, my vice chair was just whispering to me that these ought to have been an adverse opinion, because there are so many issues that have been queried that have a bearing on the financial statements. Your comments in closing?
Thank you, Chair. Mine is to appreciate everyone for the candid conversation that we've had. As for the auditors, I want to assure them that going forward, it has been recommended that we look at the entry and the exit meetings so that I get to understand the concern. That one will be done. Chair, I also want to promise that administratively we will do our part. In fact, we just gave appointment letters to the internal to the audit committee the other day. Actually, we are now inducting them. In the next few days, they'll be on, and I am very sure they are going to help us to bring down most of these queries. And to the Senate, I have no words to thank you, the great people of Nyandarua, for what you did. That one will remain in the book of history. You are the ones who have removed the burden of marginalization to the county of Nyandarua. We were left out there at devolution entry, but now you have brought us back. So thank you very much. Tell the other senators that we are very happy. I promise to oversee and supervise all what has been said here to ensure that next time we'll have a smaller booklet, not like the one which is there today. Thank you. And again, I know you're on the process of finalizing our, what do you call it? The negotiations. We applaud you for negotiations you are doing to help the counties get enough money. We had asked for 465. Some people gave us 4 or 5. I know you are still fighting. We rely on you. We count on you. At least, even if we don't get 465, but let it be up there, so that, because the vice chair just said that even if we keep talking here without budgetary money to do this, to complete this work, it will not be easy. It's the high time that the country realizes that 15% constitutional allocation should be rechecked, so that we go even up to 30. That is the time this country will feel that devolution is working. Thank you very much.
How many members of National Assembly come from Nyandarua?
5 of them. No, 6 together with the women rep.
With the women rep. I want to advise you to sit with them. I don't know the last time you sat with them or called them for a meeting and they all attended. Can you recall?
We sat sometimes back, but some of them could be in this seat, and therefore you can be sure that the conversation cannot be very healthy, but I'm trying. At least now I have about 3 of them. We are working, but we'll try, Chair.
Because we have made our recommendations, but when it goes to the National Assembly, they shoot them down as if this money is not coming to their counties. So please go back to the village and tell the villagers what their senator has done to convince the other senators to grant them, to grant Nyandarua additional resources. If that money does not come, make sure you assign the blame squarely on the members of National Assembly, because the Senate has already made that resolution. And if it were to collapse, it will be because of the 6 members of National Assembly from Nyandarua, because the ones from Homa Bay are going to support. The ones from Nyamira are going to support. The ones from Taita are going to support. I hope the 6 from Nyandarua are going to support the cause of Nyandarua when it comes to the National Assembly. But talk to them, convince them, and if they do not comply, then deal with them in your weekend church meeting.